Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Just saw you 2 seconds ago. But now we're in a different milieu with the podcast versus just seeing you walking the dog 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
We're here bright and early at Monday morning podcasting.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
Early morning.
We usually go Wednesday mornings, but today we're doing Monday because you have to go out of town.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something that I want to talk about because I hear this quite a bit. And today's episodes, we're going back to mindset. So we're going back to some more traditional mindset for all of you and how to work on changing your mindset. Because this is a phrase that I just said, I hear quite a bit, that I can't do that because I'm not special, or really that I'm just very average. And I'm an average person and I can't do those big things. So this is all really in your head. And I want to do an episode on it because it's kind of just been sticking with me when I see people show up who they want help, but then they're resistant to change because they don't think they really can change. And it's an attitude issue a little bit. So this episode is going to be about how to work on your attitude and how to move yourself out of thinking that you're, air quote, just average.
It's interesting because you can talk yourself out of something.
Yeah, we do all the time.
And so is it mostly that you're talking yourself out of something prior to getting even to the start line? Like you're not even quite ready to launch and you've talked yourself out of it?
I'm out. Yeah, because it's like, oh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. When the rubber hits the road, many people will bow out.
Yeah.
And so this episode is going to be for all of you to know that you're not average. And when the rubber hits the road, keep going. Do the hard stuff. Do the hard work that needs to be done because you have gifts and you have traits and you have the ability, you have the capability to do more than you have been doing. You just need someone to come along and give you a little push. And that's me.
You're the nudger.
I'm the nudger. I'm the person on the side of the road when you're running that marathon, when you're at mile 20, who's saying, go, you got this, go. That's exactly what I do as a high performance coach. Okay. So before we get started, I want to ask you, well, first of all, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and for watching on YouTube. I completely appreciate it. And I want you to know that I have gratitude for all of you for listening. If you would not mind taking a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, that will help. That's just something that you can do. It'll take you a minute and write 1 or 2 sentences in the review. That's your give back. So I would so be grateful to all of you if you could do that. And if you're looking for coaching, if you want individual coaching with me, email me hello@AnnaMarcolin. Let's get on a call together. Or if you're interested in group coaching, because individual coaching for some people might be more expensive or too expensive. For some people, it's not. But for some people, I think during this time that we're living in with the economy, individual coaching might be a little bit more than what you want to spend right now. Reach out to me about group coaching because that is a great bang for your buck where you're in a small group. We're working on issues that are pretty much universal to most people, and we can get into the details when you email me. Let's get on a call together and let's see if you'd be a good fit for a group coaching. And that has been game changing for people in my coaching programs. Okay. So either way, hello@AnnaMarcolin.com. Let's get on a call together and let's get you set up. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
And you should mention, we just had a 2-parter, right?
Oh, men's mental health.
Yeah. And that dropped the last couple of weeks or like 2 out of 3 weeks or whatever it was. But that one, we got a lot of interesting and really good feedback on, you know, both through YouTube, I guess, or just verbally, you know.
We could talk 4 hours about men's mental health. And that was a 2-part series. I think they were almost an hour each.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to dive deep on. If you all wanted us to, I certainly could talk more about, depression, anxiety. We talked about behaviors of gaming and isolation and being addicted to phones and pornography and what is going on in the minds of men today, especially the Gen Zers and some of the millennials. It's an issue and it's a problem that we're having with mostly our young males today. So yeah, listen to it. Really good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I find is that people say to me over the years, I'm just an average person, Anna. And I always sort of bristle at that and want to push back on my clients when they come in. And I tell them, okay, I'm going to push back on you on that. And they like it. I think deep down inside, that's why they're coming for coaching, because they tell me they're average and they really know that I think maybe I'm not, but I want her to help me bring out my gifts. I want her to help me see what it is that I can't see that maybe she can see in me. And that's what people really are looking for. And when we say we're average, average is comfortable. Average is just air quote moderation. So average is choosing that middle path. I'll work, but I'm not going to work real hard because I don't really think it's going to work out. And I'm not going to spend all my time and energy going after something that's really big, only for me to be disappointed. So I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to stay in my comfort zone, and I'm not going to get myself into these scratchy, itchy places in my life where it's going to get uncomfortable because I don't want to be disappointed. So that's why if you've worked with me, of course, in coaching, but if you've listened to me for any amount of time, the podcast, you know I'm going to say to you, and I've always said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You've got to get comfortable with the idea that, oh, I'm going to be uncomfortable, or, oh, this is uncomfortable. I always think about sitting on the trainer on my bike training for triathlons, especially in the winters here in Chicago. You're not outside because it's 10 below wind chill and it's freezing cold. So I'm either in the home gym or used to be in the basement. It was a crappy basement. It was before we finished. Remember, before we were finished it was just toys everywhere, just crap everywhere, just a mess. And I'm on the trainer in the dark basement watching some show that I'm not even really paying attention to because I have these intervals I have to do. So a trainer is what you put your bike on. Like you can take your bike and we put it on a trainer. So it turns your outdoor bike into a stationary bike.
It simulates outside riding.
Just think of yourself on a stationary bike, a Peloton bike or a stationary bike, old school bike, and you're on it for 45 minutes to an hour. For us, it was up to 4 hours in the winter training for an Ironman or half Ironman. And it's boring and it's hard. So part of what it's hard about it is it's freaking boring. So I got in the Marvel series. I watched all the Marvel series movies when I had anything that was 2 hours plus. And still, it was hard. Your butt started hurting. Your sit bones started to get sore.
You're just sitting there pedaling your legs again and again.
Your neck hurts. Your shoulder hurts. And you're like, blah, this is so freaking average. When you're outside with your friends, you're maybe talking or you've got the sun, you've got the elements. You're looking at whatever trees or what's around the corner, what's next. You have to stay alert. You're stopping at a stoplight or a stop sign because there's cars coming. Your mind is just much more active versus sitting on that damn bike. And it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And everything in me wanted to get off. Everything in me wanted to stop. Why am I doing this? I'm going to go get the shower and I want to go get comfortable. But I had goals. And the goal was I'm making it to that race in June. I'm making it to that race in May, whenever it was. And I had to get through this workout. That's getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So I know what it's like. And I'm telling you all, I'm not different than you. I'm not different. I'm average. I'm an average person. I'm not better than you at this. I'm not smarter than you. I'm just like you. What's maybe the difference is I really wanted something. I really wanted this goal. I really wanted to be in that race and cross that finish line. That's the only thing. So I had a goal for myself that I was committed to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, totally. Two things. One, so you remember the basement ghost?
Oh, yeah.
So there was that. That made it interesting a little bit.
Tim thinks, well, the kids and Tim thinks a ghost. There's a ghost that lives in his house. No, there actually is. And he was convinced that the ghost was down there with him when he was in the bike.
Totally. 100%. The second thing is though, so
why do you think that? Because you felt wind.
I felt the breeze.
You felt the breeze. He felt the breeze go through him in the dead of winter on the bike.
And there was the Frankenstein candy dish story, which we're not going to get into all that stuff now.
The dish was lit up by batteries at Halloween, and it would light up by itself, and there were no batteries in the dish.
I took the batteries out, and it still lit up. There's that. I mean, who's to say, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so go get back to what we're talking about. I think we get lost sometimes. We forget how big this world is. And it's like you get so focused on the GOAT, like the greatest of the great in whatever arena you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you forget about you can still be great. You can be your best version of you in your bubble of the world. And that should be what you're striving for, not to be the greatest in the history of time in fill in the blank, whatever it is you're talking about. It's an attainable goal for yourself.
Yeah.
And yet you don't have to worry about all these outside influences of like, well, what about that person? What about, doesn't matter. This is your world we're talking about.
And you all know this. This is like on repeat on this podcast. Put the blinders on like they do to the horses, the racehorse, thoroughbred racing. Put the blinders on. It's for the horse to stay focused and stay straight and not to be looking around. Some horses need it. Not all horses have the blinkers. They call them blinkers. Not all racehorses have the blinkers on, but quite a few do because they're the ones who need to stay focused and look straight and look forward. Other ones, they're able to do it. I am somebody who, if I was a racehorse, I'm this way now. Put your blinkers on, put your blinders on so that you just stay focused forward. Stop comparing yourself to people around you. So the metaphor for that is that we compare ourselves. We compare and despair. They're better. They're smarter. They're more successful. They make more money. They have more education. They're more talented. That's a big one. They're more talented than me. They just can run better than me. They can swim. I mean, I've even said this. Well, they swim in high school. That's why they're so good. Well, yeah, they swim in high school and they swim in college. So what?
Doesn't matter.
Run your race.
Yeah.
Run your race. Go to school and do your education.
Yeah.
You study. You do your work your butt off in your corporate job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
You're interrupting me.
Just be the best version of yourself.
Right.
Right. Don't worry about the rest of it. You don't control the rest of it anyway. So why even bother thinking about it?
And if you have goals for yourself, I'm telling you, do not settle. Do not settle. Most people will settle. And you're listening to this and you're watching this right now because I'm here to tell you, because I know you know deep down inside, you're not average. Do not settle. I have been helping people for almost 3 decades push beyond their limits. And you can do it. And I'm telling you, I've watched people who've come to me who've said, it's just little old me here, but I have a goal. I want to be the CEO of the company, or I want to leave corporate America and I want to start my own job. I have this dream. It's really an entrepreneurial dream. I'm afraid of it, but I really want to open up a brick and mortar selling Afghan rugs or crocheting knits. I want to open up my own yoga studio or my own Peloton or Orange Theory type of business. But I don't know if I can do it because I've never done it before. I think I can, but I don't know because the negatives come in your head. And it's like, no, just stay as the employee at the Orange Theory. Just stay as the employee at the corporate America job because it's benefits and it's salary, it's PTO. I know that and I'm comfortable there, but something keeps bothering you. You want to do something else.
Yeah.
And you don't do it because the negative mindset, the fixed mindset comes in and says, no, you're just average. No. Just stay where you are. Tamp those thoughts down.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So
true.
many people, but they know they've got something inside of them, right?
Yeah. There's fear, right? There's other things that creep in and it's like, ooh, you tap the brakes and then you freeze.
Well, and what happens is really, and part of me really does get it, you're choosing comfort over tension because you're going to experience tension in your life, psychological, almost psychic tension over making changes. You're afraid of it. So you stay comfortable because you're afraid of the tension. There's going to be distraction here. It's going to be hard. They're going to be distracted by how hard it is. And that has them like, okay, going back to my comfy spot. Well, because you got to be disciplined. And you know that distraction is going to continue to come in. And you have to keep choosing discipline, because the distraction is what's going to keep you wanting to stay. Oh, this is not worth it. This is really hard.
Yeah,
right?
True.
So that's that fixed mindset over you really growing. So why is it that we struggle? Why do we struggle to move outside of being average? So there is the middle trap where we just avoid the extremes. We just think that moderation is safe. Many of us heard staying in the middle, it keeps us stagnant. And we say, well, okay, I'll stay stagnant because what we heard many of us is moderation is key, everything in moderation. Now, I know I heard that a lot around food. Everything in moderation. So there's a kernel of truth to that, to eating crappy food all the time. And I even say to my clients, listen, if you want to order pizza. You just don't do it every night. If you want to order McDonald's or go to Chick-fil-A or whatever, In-N-Out, go have it. You just don't do it once a week. You don't do it 4 days a week where that's your dinner. Okay, that's maybe not so much a moderation, and you're going to be upset with yourself when you're gaining weight. You don't know why you're not experiencing the muscular gains at the gym. Well, because you can't eat. And most people, I know you all know this, right? You can't eat In-N-Out 4 nights a week or 4 days a week for lunch. You can't keep eating processed foods.
That would be rough.
ad nauseum. We all know this today. If you
Yeah.
listen to podcasts, you watch YouTube, you're on social media, we all know this. We're all preaching to the choir. It's a global choir now in this world. I think everybody, especially in first and second world countries, we all know this, right? So everything in moderation. Well, when you're going after big things, you're not going to be in moderation. There's no more moderation here. So you have to change your mind around that and get into growth. Why else are we struggling with moving beyond being average? Because we've got ourselves into these habits that have not been helpful for us. So, we may start out really strong, like, okay, I'm going to make these changes. We talk about this every year, I think, on the podcast now around New Year's Eve and
Well, what page am I flipping for 2020, whatever, right?
Right. It's the habit breakdown. So we start strong, but then the excitement fades out and we just quit because it's not exciting anymore. The dopamine hit is gone. So it's like, wah, wah. Now it's hard. You're not talking to anybody about it anymore. It's 6 a.m. on a Monday morning and you're like, that's where it matters. That's where you got to get out of bed and go to the gym like you said you were going to do on Friday night and Saturday morning and Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Get up and go. So the excitement has faded. And people who are average, they are relying on motivation. And it's not motivation. It's never motivation. It's never going to be motivation. So if you are really an average person, which most of you who are listening to this podcast are not, you're a high performer and you need to rely on your discipline and you need to be consistent. So it's discipline, it's consistency, it's not motivation.
Yeah. Isn't it safe to say the biggest group, you said the word the middle, isn't it safe to say the biggest group is the middle? Because you've got your elites, that's a small group. And then you've got the ones that are at the bottom of it that are trying to become better. Like they're pushing to become that middle group. But it's the middle group that gets comfortable.
Yeah, but I think that more and more of us today are moving out of the middle group and we're moving into high performers.
You're trying to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and that's why I wanted to do this episode, because I think a lot of people are not average. They think they're average. And I'm here to tell them you're not average. You actually are more of a high performer. You've actually never tested it.
Yeah.
To see that, no, because they say, well, I'm not part of those people, Anna, that you coach. Yes, you are, because I've coached them. And I'm telling you, you are a high performer. You got to change your mind around who you think you are. Who do you say you are? Don't let anybody else tell you who you are, but you got to stop saying you're average.
Yeah.
Because when I work with those people, they're like, oh, I'm like, hello, you're a high performer.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, I guess, wow, I never thought of myself that way. I guess I am. Not in a narcissistic way, but in a way where it's like, finally start to see yourself for all the gifts that you have been given by universe, God, higher power, whatever. You have these gifts. You haven't been using them. Listen, high performers are not people that are not unreachable, everybody. High performers are not all the billionaires out there. High performers are not the best of the best of the best. They're not the people who win the Ironman World Championship. Yeah, they're high performers. There are so many high performers who are your neighbor, who are the people who live in your community. These are also high performers. It's not all the top podcasts. We know who they are. They're the top podcasts. They're the top 10, top 100. No. Okay, yes, they're high performers, but there are a lot of high performers out there that don't have a podcast. They're not going to be the million followers on social media. The high performers are the everyday people.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it's important for you all to know, that it's not just people who have the 7 million followers. I know so many high performers, and you all don't know who they are because they're just people who are not interested in social media. They're not interested in putting themselves out there, but damn, are they high performers? They are the people who are making a crap ton of money. And some of them have a nice following on social media, but they're a little bit quieter about it. They got their nose to the grindstone. They're working. They're not motivated. The motivated went out the window years ago, but they consistently show up every day or 5 days a week and they do the work.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I work with.
Yeah.
That you all are never going to know or meet, because a lot of them also are not coming on podcasts.
Right. They don't want to. They don't need to.
Some of them want to. Some of them don't want to.
Yeah.
They have no interest. They don't need to.
Yeah. That's why when you're bringing down these groups, like the middle, like I'm thinking it's like a self-assessment way of looking at it. You can be in the middle and be an amazing, whatever it is you're doing, an amazing scientist, amazing, whatever, could be anything, right? But it's the way you assess yourself.
Many of us put ourselves down.
Yes.
So many. We talk a lot today about narcissism and people who are narcissistic and people who are egotistical. Yeah, that's quite a bit of that. I think the word narcissism was way overused today. It's in the vernacular. I mean, it was something that, of course, we use in all my clinical work and in the field of psychology, but now it's like an everyday term. It's overused. Most people, I think, really have low self-esteem and don't esteem themselves enough and don't see their greatness. And I don't mean that in a narcissistic way and don't mean that in an egotistical way, but they've got to start seeing their value and their worth.
Mm-hmm.
I see it and I work with them to see it themselves. Not for them to get a big head, for them to see, oh, I am worthy of going after this really great, big, audacious, hairy goal that I had years ago, but I let it go and I tamped it down because I thought I wasn't good enough. I'm just this average person. No, you're not. That's the people I love working with.
Yeah.
To help them see like their greatness.
Yeah. I'm thinking in the context, like I work with swimmers.
Yeah.
I've got people in all different age categories.
Toddlers.
3.5 to 75.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you take the ones that are like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, right? They're their best version of themselves in that context. They're not the best version of themselves athletically.
Right.
In their entire existence.
Right.
So be the best version of yourself right now. That's going to be the goal. Give the best effort. You're 65. You're not going to beat the 22-year-old in a swim. It's just not in the cards for you, most likely. And that's okay because you're not really competing against that person.
The 65-year-old is not trying to compete against their grandson.
Yeah, you're competing against the clock
Yeah.
and you're competing against anyone else that shows up that day in your age group, right? So just be the best that you can be for yourself, you know?
Right. And I have to mention this because I think it's important to always say this for all of you. I'm saying why people stay average and that it's about a fixed mindset, that this is just who I am. And you need to know that this is never about shame. This is never about you shaming yourself. I would never have you ever shame yourself. But it's about awareness of how I want you to get curious about how you're thinking. And I encourage you and challenge you for curiosity about why do I think this way? It's about developing awareness around how you talk to yourself. Because once you start to see the patterns of how you think and why you're not getting ahead, you can now choose differently. And that's really important. That's how we start to change our mindset, is to start to be aware about the patterns of how you think. All right.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
So let's go into, what do the high performers do? What do the people that I have worked with, how are they right now, just right now, how are they different from you? And I'm going to say this, high performers, they don't escape the struggle. They're not trying to get away from it. They feel the resistance just like you and me. They feel it. It's uncomfortable. They don't like it either. They hate it. They would do anything to not get up that morning at 6 a.m. and go for a run or start working on their computer on their project. They don't want to do it. They want to sleep in. But the difference is they do it anyway. So they do it anyway. They get up, they put those 2 feet on the floor, they stand up on the side of their bed, they go pee just like you, they go brush their teeth just like you, they make coffee or tea just like you, they put the dog out to pee, they feed the cat, and they put on their bathing suit and they pick up their bag and they go to the pool. They get their car keys, they get in the car, they go. They're freaking tired, their eyes are half open, hopefully safe to get to the pool, but they're doing it.
Right.
They get up, they get their coffee, they're in their jammies, they sit down in front of that computer and they start writing. They do it anyway. And what I do, because of my attention deficit being the way it is I have to put a timer on. I'll put a timer on, and that's what I do. It makes me feel good. Like, all right, Andy, you got to work for 15 minutes, 25 minutes, and the timer goes off and I get a break. And that's when I get up. And, I do 2 25-minute intervals. So I've worked for almost an hour, 50 minutes, and then I get to go and take a break. And that's when I get to like eat, or I'll go work out or something. Because that's not as hard for me. As writing is very difficult for me. Doing stuff in my business, I love what I'm doing, but it's hard for me to sit for hours and hours. I'm writing. Writing is the challenge for me because it's a memoir and it's bringing up all kinds of stuff. It's hard, and everything in me wants to go away from it. Everything in me wants to do something else. I don't want to write this book, but I do want to write this book. But I don't want to write the book, but I do want to write the book. I go back and forth.
You're doing the squirrel.
So it's consistency.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's important for you all to know. High performers are no different from you.
Yeah.
They just have plans in place for how, and this is how I coach, plans in place for how they're going to go in 30-minute increments throughout their day to get the work done. that they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's really good advice. The whole timer concept, just give you a look behind the curtain. So there's our timer, right? If you're on YouTube, right? So we have a timer going right now just to kind of quantify time.
Will help us keep a sense of
yeah. But if you get up in the morning and you put a timer, and it could be on literally anything.
Right.
It quantifies a start and an end for you, right? And it makes it so that you're like, okay, I've only got 12 minutes left. I need to keep moving. I need to keep writing. I need to keep reading. I need to keep praying. I need to keep whatever it is you're doing for yourself. You can see it. It's a visual for yourself. And you know that there's an end coming
I know
up.
the timer is going off. During COVID, I had to get work done on my business, and I was really struggling because during COVID, we were home. This is in the beginning. This is more like 2021. And I was really struggling because I no longer had my office, you all know, and I had my home office that we created. So I was doing everything out of the house. Like I was here 24/7. It's driving me bonkers. And so I joined a group where we would, and everybody was from all walks of life, pretty much all creatives, but people were not therapists, and coaches. They were just a true like artists and doing other things. But I would join this group where we had cameras on for an hour. It was cameras on for 50 minutes and we just all worked. And we were all muted. The person who ran it, we were all muted, but everybody was working. And I'd look up. It actually was so helpful. I'd look up. I'd see everybody else with their head down working. I felt like I was in a library studying with a bunch of people. It really was very helpful.
You basically were.
Yeah.
You were in a virtual library.
Right. So there was another timer and that was with cameras on. That really helped. So find a way for you to do that hard work, because I know for people like me, and I think a lot of us today, even if we have a clinical diagnosis of attention deficit or not, we're all have squirrel brains because of what social media has done to us. So find a way. Okay. What do high performers do? So they expect growth to hurt. They expect it to hurt. They know it's going to hurt and they do it anyway. They see failure as feedback, not final. And this has been a hard one because I have failed so many times, everybody. I have failed so many times in my business. I have failed in racing. Well, I wouldn't say I failed, but I did not meet my goals. I did not get on the podium. I've had to stop races. I have been hurt. I've been injured. I've had to stop running in mile 1 of Olympic distance races. I wanted to get on the podium in Memphis in 21, 22. And I had spent months training, had a great swim, had a fantastic bike at the pouring down rain, 56 miles. I had a fantastic bike, got off that bike, expecting to run that half marathon. And at mile 4, I had knee pain, which I'd never had before, my left knee. Is that failing? I don't know. I was crying. I was walking at mile 4. And so me getting on the podium in a half Ironman, hoping to make it again to the world championship, half Ironman world championship, I was reduced to a walk and bawling my eyes out, crying, and people cheering me on along the way, trying to help keep me motivated. The people in Ironman, I mean, these people in all these races are amazing in marathons, how we all help each other out, and like crying. And then I went from wanting to get to the podium to just finish the freaking race.
Yeah.
Just finish. Okay, what's the cutoff? What time do I have to be done with this race before they shut it down?
Yeah.
To just going through the finish line, walking to the finish line and getting a medal. How many times have I wanted to stop in my business? How many times have I started programs that nobody signed up for? You know how many times I wanted to say, I'm done. I'm finished with this. I don't want to do this anymore. You put all this time and effort. I know. I get it. I know what it's like to do something. And no one signs up. No one comes. You think to yourself, no one cares. No one cares. It's hard. Yes, I take it personally. Tried not to, but it's hard not to take it personally. Like, I suck. What am I doing wrong? Why is this not helping? All the things. And you have a pity party. Then you do it for a little bit and allow yourself to feel the feelings of sadness and self-pity.
Yeah.
Then you got to get up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I know it's an old term, but pull yourself up, stand up, and get back at it and keep going. I wasn't motivated to keep going. I don't want to, no. Why would I put all this time and energy in paying people to help me and paying for social media services and paying for all these things to not make a dime because no one signed up?
Yeah.
I'm still here podcasting because I love it. I love this and I love what we're doing here. But so there you go. I'm a walking example of it's hard. So high performers, they reframe stress as training, not punishment. That's important. And that's one I've had to work on. They reframe it as training. You're not being punished. Nobody doesn't care. People are just busy doing other things. Don't personalize. Stop personalizing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So a couple of things, and we've talked about this probably in the last, I don't know, it's probably been a couple of years, but like when you fail, I think there's two critical things. One, you have to be open and good with feedback because that's going to make you better next time, right?
Yeah, be open to feedback.
Be open to feedback.
Right.
And then I think like it's also about how you respond. So if you fail one time, whether you get the feedback or you don't, it's how do you respond the next time? Do you come out tougher,
right,
stronger, faster, right? Because you learn more when you fail.
Right.
I think you learn more when you fail than when you succeed.
Feedback is not final.
Correct.
And feedback from the right people is really there to help you grow.
Yes.
And help you change and grow.
But you also have to be in the mindset, the proper mindset to receive that feedback. Because sometimes you'll hear that feedback and you perceive it to be negative. And like somebody pointing their finger at you like, oh, well, if you had only, it's some of it's the presentation, obviously.
Well, choose your people. So you've given me feedback before, and there's times I've been defensive and not wanted to hear it. And truth be told, because I trust you, I think I knew the truth and I knew what you're saying was true. And part of me didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was true and it hurt a little bit.
Right.
It hurt to hear what I was, the whole time I was thinking about it. Usually what happens is I tell you what's happened way after it happened. Like you didn't know what I was doing, the work I was putting into something. And then you were giving me feedback. Because people say there's no such thing as constructive criticism. I understand that. It's just criticism. And I understand that you're trying to make it constructive, but for me, it depends on when you're giving me the feedback too. If it's soon after something failed, I feel it's a criticism. Although deep down inside, I do know later on when I think about it, I'm like, oh, he's not wrong. I mean, he's right. And I trust you. So when you're getting feedback from people, for all of you, trust the people who are giving you the feedback. Because if it's someone who doesn't have your back, who maybe is envious or jealous of you or doesn't really have your best and your highest in their minds, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Go to people who really are in your corner and listen to them. And that feedback is, they're going to tell you what didn't go right or what they saw, what maybe you want to tweak or you want to change. Yeah.
And I think that on the other side of this conversation, that's also really good advice because we're going to always also be the one that is giving the feedback. Be sensitive to when you give it, how you give it. Yeah. You want to be pretty unfiltered and clear, but also it's the timing.
And make sure the person that's giving you the feedback knows what they're talking about. You respect them and trust them.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about. Yeah. You know?
But I'm talking about when you're the one giving feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
Be sensitive to that other person just had a bad day.
Yeah.
Or a bad moment, right?
So maybe choose that for a day or two or a week later.
There you go.
Don't, maybe not that night. Just be there, be supportive and say that sucks. I'm sorry this happened.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's awful. Just, that's all you say. It's a hand on the shoulder. It's like, okay, I'm here. Just listen to them talk about, let them vent.
Yeah.
And then maybe a week later you can give them.
Because there'll be another time to really drill down and assess some things, but not right then.
Okay. So what do high performers do differently? Let's go back to that again. So they're thinking differently, right? So they're expecting growth to hurt. They're taking in feedback and they don't think of it as final. It's just feedback. And they're reframing stress as training, not punishment. And that's really important. So stress in their work, whatever it is that they're doing, it's their training ground. It's not punishment. Okay. They think differently. They behave differently. They keep habits when motivation is gone. I already talked about that. They're keeping those habits. They are not motivated. That went out the window a long time ago, but they keep those habits in place. They're choosing structure even when it feels restrictive. So I talked about my timing, every 30-minute increments. They keep it. Even when it feels like, why am I doing this? This is just such a pain. You got to keep that structure going. That's what's going to keep you consistent because like we just said, motivation's gone. Keep their structure. They're behaving differently and they're acting according to their values, not their mood. This is not about what they feel. This is about their values. So you all have to look at what your values are. That's really important, not what your mood is that morning that you woke up or what your mood is that afternoon. Because moods and feelings really do change throughout the day. They certainly change from week to week, all right? And what do they do different? They endure differently. I think this is a really big one. High performers endure differently than many of us. They accept that growth requires tension. They know that there's going to be tension. They know that they're going to be in those uncomfortable, itchy, scratchy places in their life. Their muscles don't build without resistance. Don't we all know that? You want to build muscles, you're going to get in the gym and you're going to up your increments like weekly. You're just upping. You lifted 10 pounds biceps last week. Now you're going up to 12 pounds. And maybe you don't get as many reps in, but you lifted 12 pounds and maybe you did 3 reps versus 5 versus whatever, you're 10 or 12, right? They understand that and they know that that's how they're going to build. So that's how they're getting bigger. They understand that you can't think your way into change.
Yeah.
You can't think your way into change. You have to behave your way there. You can't just think it.
Yeah.
You got to behave it.
Yeah.
It's all about taking action and behaving different. Your behavior. You got to do something different. And that's why people come to me, because they need help with the behavior change. They need help with the taking action. And together we come up with a plan for them that they are like, yes, because every coaching client gives me a resounding yes. Every coaching client needs the outline and they need a plan. And it helps to have somebody with you on that journey. That's why people pay me, because I'm right there with them. And then together with my support, they're like, oh, I can do this. I got Anna. She's right here. She's seriously a text away or an email away. And okay, I can do this weight loss. I can go for the CEO of this company. I can manage this team better. I'm learning the skills of leadership and confidence. And actually, I'm building my self-esteem. I can do this. I knew it was always there inside of me, kind of deep down, but I was really struggling with self-belief. Now I can do it with her because she's here. She's going to help me. And she's teaching me these skills. So when we work together, we're getting real nuance for you in your life. And I'm working with you on everything that you want to work on. Your action steps are curated, of course, for you. And you're saying to me each week, yes, I want to do that this week. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I always think of it, a good analogy is like it's a staircase. You don't run to the top of the hill initially. You kind of have to work your way up a little bit, right? Like you stretch yourself and then you allow yourself to regroup for a second. You stretch yourself again and then you allow yourself. It's so true in like, we talk a lot about athletics, but it's true almost in everything where it's like, take yourself out of your comfort zone, understand what that feels like for a second, regroup, process it, assess it, and then do it again, but go a little bit further next time.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, we do talk about athletics, and I would be remiss, and I think that you all who've been watching on YouTube or listening for any amount of time knows that I coach people every day on relationships. Relationships, not just at work, but their work husbands or work wives and their teams. I coach people every day on their interpersonal relationships with their friends and their family members. That's a big part of what I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody who comes and works with me, no one's not talking about relationships in their lives.
Right.
Because our life is about relationships and being in relation to one another, wherever it is. So I think that that's important because I've been coaching people quite a bit lately on their marriages, on relationships with their kids, relationships with in-laws. It's a big part of what I do. And a big part of, helping them grow in the relationship and having difficult conversations, getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, because there's tension.
Yeah. And just take that, what you just said, and put that in a staircase analogy. Be good with like opening up a little bit more this time. And then take a second. How'd that go?
It's so cool to watch people make progress in their relationships in their life. It's so cool to watch. And they're doing it. They're doing the hard work though. They're working.
Right.
They're really doing the hard work. Like, oh, okay. And it's so funny. I had a client who was actually here in my office last week, and 2 clients, and a client on Zoom. She's in another country actually. And she said to me, Anna, and my client who was here in my office, he was leaving, walking out the door. He goes, Anna, I always have you. You're like on my shoulder. He's like, you're like the angel on my shoulder telling me, don't do this. Don't do this. We talked about this. It's so funny because I think about that scene from Animal House where he had the angel on the one shoulder and the devil on the other. Yeah. I think he was like, going to have sex with somebody. I don't know. Was it the?
I don't remember.
I know. It was a couple such a raunchy movie, but it's the best soundtrack and one of my favorite movies. But I was like, that is such a feel good to me. And the best feel good is that in my client saying, working on relationships with extended family members. And she sent me the loveliest text saying, I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't worked with you. You have helped so much with my communication and knowing when to step away, knowing when to walk away, and knowing when to communicate and how to say it. She goes, because I got you on my shoulder, Anna, whispering in my ear, don't go there right now. Don't say that right now. So that's like the biggest compliment and the best testimonial. I will happily be the angel on your shoulder telling you, regulate your emotions here, time to regulate. This is not the time for you to say this, because normally I would have, and I would have gone off and I would have caused a huge fight, or I would just give them the silent treatment and not talk to them.
Yeah.
So great. Really, I mean, best compliment.
That's funny, because I have swimmers that say the same thing to me. They're like doing their own workout. We're not together. And they're like, in my head, I was listening to you last week. In my head, don't do this. Don't, like, keep your elbow up. Don't drop this. You know, it's like they remember the repetitive direction coaching. Yeah. And it comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have from my former triathlon coach the times when I'd email her and tell her, I don't know, I was having a hard day or something with work and the kids. And she'd just say, Anna, get her done. And she would write it GITERDONE, get her done. She didn't care. She was like, get it done.
Yeah.
There's no one sick. That you weren't up all night with a barfing kid. Get it done.
Yeah. Make it happen.
Get her done. And I did. I'm like, okay, that's my answer. And I also wouldn't be where I am in my business if I didn't have my coaches, my life and business coaches pushing me, saying, okay, Anna, we've listened to your excuses. So what? Do it anyway. Do it anyway. I'm like, oh God, so mad at them. Like, you just get so mad because you want them to listen. In a way, I want them to listen to my excuses, and they have compassion. Like, okay, okay. So still you're going to do that tomorrow? I'm like, I just told you how I can't. Okay, so still you're going to do that tomorrow? Or you're going to get that done this week? Like, oh, you make me so mad. And it's exactly what I needed. Yeah. It's exactly what I needed to hear. Even though at the time I wanted to hang up on them, be like, this Zoom call is over. Well, it's exactly what I needed to hear.
Right.
And that's how we grow. Okay. And high performers, they're human just like all of us. And they do that extra mile even when it feels uncomfortable. So here are your power moves. All right. As always, I'm going to leave you with some takeaways or power moves at the end of each episode. Do it when you don't feel like it. You know that by now. Do it when you don't feel like it. I want you to choose your values over your mood. But first, you got to know what your values are. So go and do that work. If you work with me one-on-one, we're really getting into your values, but you can do it on your own. Know what your values are. You choose your values over your mood in that moment, in that day. You need to reframe tension as training. Train your mind, retrain your mind, train your body. Reframe the tension that's coming up for you as training, life training for whatever it is that you want to get done in your life. And don't just know. It's one thing just to know in your head. I want you to behave. Don't just know. Behave different or behave. So behave. Take action. So I'm just going to tell you to take action.
Take action.
That's it. Okay. Knowledge is potential.
Yeah.
Your knowledge, you can know things. That's your potential. But behavior is where transformation takes place.
I like it.
All right.
Yeah. Can I add one thing to this too?
Yep.
So for me, I'm not in everything, but like in some things in this arena, I'm a visual person, right? So I think for me, having that poster, having that sticker on your laptop, having that whatever little note on your desk, there's something that you need to have. I'm thinking, okay, we're going back into the world of athletics again. But every time you see like the guys running out of their locker room, what do they have? They have some motivational sign. They all reach up and they tap it, right? Like having something that like
the Notre Dame.
Yeah, like it just gets your head back to where it should be for a second. And I think it recenters you for a second and then off you go. But I think in our world, putting something where you can see it in the morning is like, oh, okay, I'm back.
I've heard lots of different coaches out there say motivation doesn't matter or the affirmations don't matter. They're silly. They don't work. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that they don't not work. I think they do. I know I've had coaches have me do this, and I know for me personally, so anecdotally, the evidence is that it does work. It's not what you wholly rely on.
No.
But putting a sticky note on my bathroom mirror saying, get it done. Go, Anna. Like I'll say, Anna, time to go. Or I'll put it on my screen too. It does help me. It's a little bit of a kick in the pants. It's a push. It does help. Find what works for you, because when I hear people's other, well-known life coaches out there say affirmations don't work, not sure that that's true. It does work for some people.
Yeah.
Some people it doesn't. It works for me.
Yeah.
I'll put something out in the gym when I'm working out, or I'll read something that's affirming. I'm like, all right, that's what I needed to hear. That was the kick in my pants. Because when there's no one around you, we're living our lives. You're my husband. You're living your own life. There's no one around you. We're with ourselves. You're not listening to a podcast right now who's a motivational podcast. Like now it's you with you. At the end of the day, it always ends up you alone with you. What is it going to take for you to get your butt in the gym, for you to have that difficult conversation, to text somebody, say, hey, do you have time to talk today?
Yeah.
Hey, can we talk? It's you with you, because I can't go with you. It would be weird. I'm not going with you. No one's going with you. You have to do it on your own to finally get working on that project. It's you with you. Do the hard thing. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it. I know that part of you doesn't want to. Do it.
Yeah. So it's like, we say this often. It's like, how do you conduct yourself when you know the cameras are not on, right? You know there's not a security camera in that room right now. What are you going to do? You know, we've had these conversations with employees.
Time and time again.
Are you the one that's going to push even though you know nobody's here? Nobody's watching you.
Right.
There's no footage. There's no nothing. Like, how do you handle yourself?
And you all, I know it doesn't feel good. We know it doesn't feel good. We know it's not easy. I know it doesn't feel good. I know it's not easy. But here's the thing. You're not average. You're on the way to becoming exceptional. So do it. Okay? Because I want to see your exceptionalness. You're not average. And that's a great way to end this, because you wouldn't be watching, you wouldn't be listening, and you wouldn't be this far into this episode if you're an average person. You obviously want great things for yourself because you are exceptional. So go after it. Go after those goals. Get it done. And if you need help with it, if you need the angel on your shoulder, reach out to me. I'd be happy to be that person helping you go after those big freaking goals, because it's amazing what's on the other side for you.
Nice.
All right. Hope that this is helpful. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Mad love. Have a great week, everyone.